Today, we are going to unpack one of the most important stories of our time, the AI Cold War. It's this incredibly high-stakes tech rivalry between the United States and China. We're going to trace the whole thing over 15 years, starting way back in 2010 and bringing you right up to the cutting edge of 2025. This is a story about breakthroughs, big ambitions, and even bigger strategies.
So what do we even mean by an AI Cold War? Well, forget what you know about the old Cold War. The weapons this time around are nuclear missiles. They're algorithms, huge troves of data, and the tiny, mind-bogglingly powerful microchips that make it all run. You see, both the US and China are absolutely convinced that whoever leads in AI will dominate everything else. The economy, military power, you name it. The stakes, honestly, could not be higher. All right, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll set the stage with this new Cold War. Then we'll dive right into the AI arms race, followed by the super important battle over hardware known as the chip wars. From there, we'll see how both sides are trying to control this tech, or put AI on a leash. And finally, we'll look at where things stand right now.
So, how did we get here? I mean, this rivalry didn't just pop up overnight. It's really a story that's unfolded over more than a decade, full of these escalating moments where each side tries to one-up the other with some new, incredible breakthrough.
This timeline really captures that back and forth perfectly. If you go back to 2011, the US seemed to have a comfortable lead when IBM's Watson crushed it on Jeopardy! It was a huge flex of American AI muscle. But then 2016 happened. Google's AlphaGo beat the world's #1 player at Go, a game so complex people thought a machine could never master it. And that was a massive wake-up call for China. Flash forward to the end of 2022, and the US scores another huge public victory with ChatGPT, showing the world just how crazy powerful these new AI models had become. But China fired back. By early 2025, a startup called DeepSeek announced they'd built a world-class model that could hang with the best of them, but using way less computing power. A huge sign of just how innovative and efficient they'd become.
And we really can't overstate that AlphaGo moment in 2016. Calling it a Sputnik moment is just perfect, you know? Just like the Soviets launching that satellite shocked the US into action during the space race, AlphaGo's victory really lit a fire under the Chinese government. The very next year, they launched this massive, state-funded national strategy with one clear goal: become the world leader in AI by 2030. It was a total game changer.
And then came ChatGPT. Man, this wasn't just some tech demo for nerds. It was a global phenomenon. All of a sudden, millions of regular people were having conversations with this incredibly advanced AI. It put American leadership on blast for the whole world to see, and it absolutely triggered a frantic race in China. Tech giants like Baidu basically dropped everything to rush out their own versions, like their Ernie bot, because they were terrified of being left in the dust.
But, you know, this whole competition isn't just about who can write the smartest code. It's also a bare-knuckle brawl for the physical hardware that makes AI possible in the first place. And that brings us to the next front in this war, the chip wars. This right here shows you the incredible chess match that's being played. The US strategy was pretty clear: create a bottleneck. If we block China's access to the most powerful AI chips from companies like NVIDIA, we can slow down their progress. Simple, right? But China's response was anything but simple. They started pouring billions into their own chip industry. They stockpiled as many foreign chips as they could before the bans hit, and this is the really clever part, they focused on making their software way more efficient. So even if they had less powerful hardware, they could still get amazing results. So yeah, the US restrictions definitely created problems for China, but they also had this massive unintended consequence. They forced Chinese companies to innovate like crazy and become more self-reliant, which could actually make them stronger in the long run. Okay, so in the middle of this frantic race to build bigger, better, faster AI, a really critical question started to pop up on both sides of the Pacific. How do we keep this stuff safe? I mean, both countries are worried about the downsides, but their ideas for putting AI on a leash are totally different.
This table really breaks it down. In the United States, when we talk about AI safety, we're usually talking about societal harm, things like misinformation, biased algorithms, privacy, stuff like that. The approach has mostly been to ask companies to be responsible, with voluntary rules and some government guidelines. But in China, the main focus is completely different. It's all about state control and keeping society stable. Their biggest fear is AI creating content that questions the government. So their approach is very top-down, with super strict regulations, censorship built right into the AI, and even forcing users to sign up with their real IDs.
So, after all of that, The breakthroughs, the chip wars, the strategic moves. Where does this race actually stand as we're living through 2025? And what could happen next in this really intense rivalry?
This chart gives you a fantastic snapshot of the current balance of power. The United States still has the lead in the really foundational stuff. They're developing the most advanced AI models and designing the best chips to run them. But China has taken a massive lead in other areas, especially in just how widely AI is being adopted and used in the real world. So it's not like one country is just winning. It's more of a dynamic where each one has very different, very real strengths.
But this intense race for the top comes with some serious dangers. All this pressure to be first means people might cut corners, which could lead to AI being misused or just dangerous mistakes. This whole tech rivalry is also just adding more fuel to the fire of global tensions. And maybe the biggest risk of all is that there's so much mistrust between the US and China that it's stopping them from working together on global safety rules, which is something the entire world desperately needs for a technology this powerful.
And that leaves us with the one defining question for our future. Is this AI Cold War going to stay a zero-sum competition forever? Or can these two huge rivals find a way to actually cooperate on the biggest challenges? The path they pick isn't just going to decide who has the best AI. It's going to fundamentally shape the future of technology and global stability for every single one of us.